So the second one is the scenario manager. This is a great way to compare multiple sets of data in Excel. It helps to make informed business decisions based on facts and not assumptions. A scenario is a set of values that Excel saves and can substitute automatically on your worksheet. You can create and save different groups of values as scenarios and then switch between the scenarios to view the different results. You can get the best case scenario, worst case scenario. So once you save that formula, you can always go back to it, change the number without having to start all over again. It makes you work smart. I always talk about working smart. I mean, there's nothing like you having to deliver and then your boss is going to be on your neck and you don't know what to do. So if you prepare ahead and you have your facts and figures ahead of time, you can easily make decision with that. So we move to scenario manager, right? So for this one, this is a little bit tricky, so you have to pay attention. So here, this company wants to launch a book and they need to have an event, right? So they have a venue that can seat 100 people and they need to sell tickets. They are selling the ticket $20 per person, right? So they need venue, they need to rent the venue, they need security, they need refreshment. So right now, these are the costs for the three things they need to spend money on. And this, if you click on this now, you see that is the sum of venue, security, and refreshment. That is the total cost of this book launch. Now, here, this is the amount they want to sell per ticket. And they have 100 seats. They are assuming that if everything works out well and we have a full house, we will get $2,000. If you click on that, it just says 20 times 100. That's what I did to get the amount that we get. So this one now is the profit and loss. You understand? How did we get this? We just deducted the cost from the sales, the revenue. That's the normal mathematics. To get profit, you remove the expense from your revenue or your sales. So that's what we did here. Now we're going to apply scenario manager. We assume that this will work fine as we plan. And then if everything works fine, we're going to make $450 after this event. But what if things don't work out the way we want? Let's say the venue, the amount increase. The security said, no, we can't take 200, we're going to take 250. What if refreshment say, the meat pie, or the cow in the farm ran away. So we only have limited cows. So the meat pie, the meat to put in the meat pie is expensive. So we will add some money. They say, okay, refreshment is now $200 instead of $150. And the total cost will now change. What is going to be our profit? This is how you use scenario manager what if analysis. So I'm going to show you how that is done now. Do you understand the scenario I painted before I start working on the model?
Yeah.
Okay. So we now go to what if analysis. Yes. We select scenario manager. So I already created the values, right? Let's say I did not even create the value. Click on this. I mean, let me take that. I don't know. Let me try and delete that. I want to show you how I created. Okay, so this is, once you click on that, this box is going to pop up. And here it will tell you to give a scenario name. I've given this scenario best case scenario, right? If you like, you can leave the comment. If you like, you can take it away. So the changing cells will be these ones that will change. Remember, I said these are the variables. These are the things that will determine how much money we make, right? We are assuming the seats are going to be filled. What if the seats are filled, but the expenses the expenses will increase or decrease? That is why these are going to be the changing cell, right? The reason why it is changing cell is because the rent might either go up or come down, or the security might go up or come down. Refreshment might go up or come down. That is why it is the changing cell. And we selected that and we pick okay. So for the best case scenario, we said the venue reduced. Can you mute, please? The venue reduced from 1,200 to 900. That means we're able to get a better place with good value, with good rate. They say, don't worry, we will reduce the price for you. So that's for the best case scenario. Remember, this C6 is this one right here, 1, 2. That's 6, C6. Did you get that? Then we move to the next cell, which is C7, security. And let's say we are not even getting 200. We saw a cheap security company that wants to collect $80. That is our best case scenario. And then the third one is the refreshment. Okay, they now have enough cows and we can have good meat pie. We got it for $100 instead of $150. Then you click OK. That means our best case scenario is fine. Remember what I did? We just changed the variables. So the original value, right? Let's edit that. So the original value is this one that we have, that 1,200 security, 150 refreshment. That is the original value. If you look at the changing cell, like so, you can see 1, 2, 200, and 500. Right. So if I click OK, these are the values. The C6 is 1, 2, as you see right here. I hope you can see my screen. The C7 is the 200 security right here. And the C8 is the 150 right here. So this is the original value. Let's say, okay, this is what we get. What is the result? What is the profit we are going to make? And that is the original value. Remember, I've already changed the best case scenario. I reduce the expenses for the best case. For us to make money, I reduce the expenses. So what is going to be the worst case scenario? Let's see that worst case scenario. If you click on that, create the name. I created this name. So once you open Scenario Manager, there won't be any name. It will tell you to create your name. So I created the worst case scenario, original value, and best case scenario. So these are the changing cells, the same thing right here. And then you can take off this if you want. It's because of when I was updating it. Okay, then you click OK. So the scenario value are still the same. The C6 is the venue rental, which is 1, 2. And I said, okay, worst case scenario, we couldn't even get anything cheap. But our budget was 1, 2. But we couldn't get anything cheap. We got 1, 4. Okay, for the venue. For the security, we couldn't get any security company to give us for 200. They gave us for 300. And for the last one, we couldn't get any refreshment. For 150, we got refreshment for 400. Let's say we even reduce that refreshment to 300 instead of 150. And then you click OK. So we have our scenarios. So we have all the scenarios intact. So to see what the value is, you go to summary, right? Can you see the summary here?
Yes.
Okay, click on that summary. So when you click on the summary, where do you want to see your value? Is the profit and loss cell. You click on that. I click on the profit and loss cell, and then I'm going to use scenario summary. I don't want to use scenario pivot table. Stay on the original so you're on track. Then you click OK. So it opened in another sheet for me, right? So this is the summary that it gave me. And this is the analysis that it did for me. So the value, the current value that I have, the original value that I said, the venue, security, and refreshment, if we spend this value, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
You're going to get 450 as profit. If you spend, this is the original value, right? If you spend 400 for refreshment, 140 for venue, 300 for security, and 300 for refreshment, what are you going to make? Nothing. That is the worst case scenario. So it's not left for you to start adjusting the number. No, we need to make profit. So let's look for a cheaper venue. Let's look for a cheaper vendor. Let's get a quote from different people. Then you can now be using this to check your various scenarios. If we do it this way, this is what we're going to get. So for the best case scenario, if you get good venue for 900, you get good security for 80, and you get good refreshment for 100. This is your profit. So this is how to use Scenario Manager. Do you
Okay.
understand that?
I have a question.
Okay.
So your assumption is that you'll be able to fill up the hall with 100 guests.
That's the assumption. But
Yeah, in reality, we don't have that. So what if you change, can you change the number of guests? So what if you don't have full capacity? What if you
Yes.
have 25% capacity or 50% capacity?
So that's also, let's see that now. What if we get 80 people to fill up that? Every time you change anything on your data, you have to go back and do that analysis again. You get my point? It will not automatically update on this sheet. So you have to go back and do it all over again. So let's run it all over again and see what the result is going to be. Okay, so for the original value, we said, okay, the venue seat changed. So we are no longer making 2,000, we are making 1,200, but all our expenses remain the same. So if you see that, let's see the scenario, please can you mute you? You see now, when we change what we have, I mean, the capacity, it dropped the profit. This was $450, it dropped to $50. That's the original value. If you maintain the original value. So this, we are going to run at serious loss if we follow this worst case scenario. So we better not follow this. But best case scenario, is 520 enough for us as profit? Well, and then the original value, are we cool with $50 as profit? So that can change, but every time you change value on your data set right here, go back and rework, go back and rework.